I noticed there's a lot of mental illness, especially in young people lately. And I was wondering why. And also, it feels to me like the medical system is failing in the finding a solution for them. So if you could comment on that and give us some information, I would be really appreciated. Thank
Ah,
you.
ah, this is a pandemic of sorts of where it is that you are. And it is that these young people are aware, unconscious, some actually conscious of the great changes that are occurring. And they are having difficulty recalibrating to their origin because the energy that is arriving is deeply based on their origin of who it is that they are. And yet, the programming that they received to date has created a scrambledness within their energetic field. It's almost easier for those who have been deeply programmed, who are older, to be able to see what is coming and to make the shift than it is those who are confused in the in between. And this is what is happening, especially for those that are 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, in this range, 21, etc., having a very difficult time because they came here with a soul mission, conscious and aware that they would be here for this great transition. And yet they are caught in between, meaning that they were then deeply came in and their souls arrived when the programming of the current understanding that you are still operating in, that is beginning to dissolve, was present. And so they were these very loving, beautiful, light energies and beings, but they got programmed not in a negative way. This is part of their soul agreement, and they came to do this work in this way, but into structures and systems and schools and educations and ideas. And they now are alarms are going off and they're recognizing that they are here for something else. And yet they having a hard time navigating between these two energies because who it is that they are, why it is that they are here to propel us energetically, meaning you, forward as a collective. They feel unsettled. And so there's what we call a scrambling taking place. And so they need to unscramble or put this energy back into a state of coherence. However, the system that created the scramble to begin with is not the system that can unscramble it. So the medical system by nature has to, by law, fail them because they cannot be healed from the system that they need to disengage from. The healing has to come from a much more organic, holographic field of energy where they begin to attune to their higher self, begin to connect it back to nature, begin to remember the origin of their essence, their soul, their destiny, their blueprint, their light, and come into connection and community with others of their age and of light. And so that there can start to be time together in community where a surfacing of some of this knowing that is like a web that binds them, that they are not conscious of, can start to reform because this is a whole creational web that they came in on collectively together. Because you as souls come in soul groups and at specific times in linear time on the planet with specific missions for yourself, but for the collective. And the window of these energetic energies and beings, some who are very sensitive with very large soul missions are having a difficult time because of their sensitivity and ability to have gotten hooked into the original matrix to be able to make this switch. And so then it is defined as a mental illness, but it is not a mental illness. It is simply a need to descramble or deep come out of programming back into the remembering. And that is done by the many of them coming together. That's often why you don't realize it, but they are often asked to go to a center or to a place where there are other children or teenagers that are their age as they start to find one another who are operating from that same frequency. Their web starts to come back online, their energy starts to come in, and the changes that are going to be taking place coming up in the coming years, starting soon, will be very supportive for them, because things that they couldn't share or that they were feeling or were misunderstood or that seemed crazy will start to feel more real, because the illusion of what was programmed before, as it begins to dismantle, this light of this new energy arises, and it will be more of an energetic match. And so their transition into that new frequency will become easier. However, we recognize from your perspective, and in this moment, or perhaps the question in which you are asking, of having a loved one who is suffering in this way, and you are feeling failed by them, if you can zoom out for a moment and know that they did sign up for this, this is part of their path and part of their journey, and that it is temporary. And as the energies shift and they shift with it, they will begin to recalibrate to something that was more in alignment with their origin and the destiny of their work. But in the meantime, to support them, the best thing to do is to have them disengage from technology, to be in nature, to connect with others of their same age group, to be in circle and community, to drum, to have fire, to walk, to connect, to return to indigenous roots and ways of being, because this is what will start to spark the remembering in them, and they will be able to kind of unzip or unlock the energies that they got caught in. And so then the scrambling will come back into coherence, and their light will start to flood in. And as the light starts to flood in, they will align with the energies that are bombarding the planet, and they will be able to move forward on a pathway that is very much in alignment for who they are, because they are the in-betweeners, in a sense, between these realms, where many of you who are older are not experiencing that. You're experiencing some upsetness or anxiety or depression or concerns about these shifts and changes, but your operating system is able to make the leap, and their operating system is not.